Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the PAPAJO show where PAPAJO knows. I am your host, PAPAJO. Really do appreciate you all being here. I'm going to change the format of the show. Previously, I would run in and go through the, the chat and everything like that and say, hey, everyone. What we're going to do is we're going to change that towards the end. If there's relevant chats what we're talking about in the show here, I'll pull them up. But what I would like to do is kind of turn it more into a question and answer time. But we'll do that towards the end of the show, where I'll run through and say hey to everyone, as well as open it up for Q&A towards the end of the shows, because to talk about what we discuss here, and or if you guys have general questions or anything like that, I think it would be more wise use of time for everybody. I think it would be really, really good to do that. So first things first, do me a favor, smash those likes and share this out. Tick the bell if you would like to subscribe. Go ahead and grab the bell as well. That way you get every single notification when I do go live and or upload a video or anything at all. That would be amazing to be able to do that. And then the other thing, if you want to help the channel out, I do have a Patreon show, 4:30 every day. That is scrolling on the bottom of the screen and linked in the description of the video. And if you want to help the channel out in general, there is the Crypto Confidential. That would for sure help the channel out, and I would love that for sure. And just a little thing on the Patreon show. That's just another show for me to talk about things and really dig into stuff. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on the day, and that is where you get early access to interviews as well. I'm gonna start doing a lot more of those in the not too far future, especially after meeting different people at Bitcoin 2022. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the content. Like I said, we're going to move the chat, and I would like to turn that more into a Q&A. We'll put that towards the end of the show. So if you wanted to be part of that, stick around after we get through with the content, and then we'll kind of go from there. So that's the way it's going to be from going forward. We'll try it out, see if that helps for people's use of their time, just to make sure that everyone can use it wisely. All right, so let's jump in, like I said, and get into it. So today we are looking at, again, the 39,000, but it bumped up to, well, I'm on the day chart here, excuse me. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. What did we jump up to? We were up 41 and a half approximately, but then back down. So these tops and these arches and these, I don't know what they're called. I'm not a technical analysis guy, but go check out Crypto Zombie. He's really good with technical analysis, and I may bring him on the show or go on his show. I don't know. He and I really connected at the conferences this past week, so that would be really, really cool to have that conversation. But I digress. So we're looking at down again. So it's lost basically everything it picked up yesterday, and we're back to where we were. Now I don't know what this means. It's going to retest, etc. But I think as always, I realistically think long term this stuff is going to really jump. You look at the Dow, it's down, and Bitcoin's down. And what is that? They're all correlated, okay? They're all correlated, and that is what it is. Because these traders, they trade together. They do their 9 to 5 jobs, but they also trade in the crypto market as well. You've got gold. That's S&P 500. Excuse me. You got gold. You got silver. They're both down. It's different there. Look at Divi. Divi, by the way, if you don't know about Divi, the Divi project is building an incredible ecosystem, and they're partnering with people that will legitimately create generational wealth through that one project. And that is just my personal opinion, digging into it, knowing the team personally behind building that out. So one of those things I realistically think at the end of the day that they are doing is building a true foundation. I've told them this multiple times. I've told it to them publicly, where they do the Q&A stuff like that they do with the Twitter Spaces and stuff. But they are building a real foundation. They're building a residual income platform. They're building a way for people to actually transact with each other, and I think it's phenomenal what they're doing. Right? Let's see who else. There's one other one. Oh, you got Matic. Those of you who don't know anything about Matic, Matic is one of those other ones that you can build a residual income with as well. Wow, that's an interesting spike down. People are playing with it for sure. It looks like Matic has both a layer 1 and a layer 2 solution. Layer 2 for Ethereum, but they have their own layer 1, and they could eat Ethereum's lunch all day long. They really could. And they kind of are starting to. I mean, there's the developers are moving over into that platform because it's just easier to build in it. And it's faster and it's cheaper. There's lots of reasons to use it. And all the tech guys like myself were looking at it going, Matic is one we could really, really play with. Anyways, that's my afternoon, midday chart check. I check it as soon as not as soon as I get up. I always, for those of you know, I spend time in the Word of God for the first thing in the morning. And then I'll go look at stuff like this. A coffee in the morning. By the way, what are you drinking? I'm drinking Ethiopian Black. I love it because it's clean, it's sweet, and it's just good by itself. Those of you who enjoy a good bourbon or something like that, drinking coffee that is properly grown and whatnot, that is really, really good. It's kind of the same thing. You get different flavor palettes and stuff like that. I'm weird. I know. All right. It's not my fault. Flashbang wants to blame everything and everyone except for the root of the problem. So he's calling the Putin's price hike of 8.5% for U.S. inflation. We discussed in the Patreon yesterday. It's actually not 8.5%. We discussed the wholesale pricing. If you're part of the Patreon, go watch that video. I really kind of looked into that as well. That really, really helps have a bigger, broader view of what's coming down the pipe. Like, we are in a world of hurt here very soon, people. We really are. All right. Anyways, Flashbang, if you don't know, that's what I call this guy, Flashbang. I stole the nickname from Monkeyworks. If you don't know who Monkeyworks is on YouTube, go check him out. It's WERX, I think. He's a really, really good data information on what's happening out there. It's amazing his channel hasn't been pulled down, to be honest with you. But it's kind of cool. Anyways, that's his nickname. Props to you, brother. If you ever get a chance to talk, definitely worth looking at. Anyways, Flashbang has gone through painstaking efforts to shrink responsibility for the state of the economy, blaming everyone from Putin to meat conglomerates. People like cattle butchers, like people who process meat, for record inflation. Do y'all really? No, I really hope all of my regulars. I know you guys and gals. Y'all don't buy into that. I don't buy into it. This is literally a child. It is like a child leading the country saying, "Not my fault. Not my fault. I didn't do it. He did it." That's really what's going on. The thing is, though, as we've talked about on the show here as well, is that the former administration started a lot of money printing. How do you bring down a beast like the Federal Reserve, like the monetary system? You print the money to oblivion. And then they never stopped. They've been trying to ram these $1 trillion, whatever. What they just send $800 million worth of weapons to Ukraine. They're trying to cover up their tracks. We'll talk more about that on the Patreon as the information starts to unfold. Because that is stuff I can't talk about out here. That will bring this channel down. I'm surprised the other channel hasn't been just turned off. I haven't had to rework the plumbing on that yet. I did when I first started it, though. That was frustrating. Anyways, sorry. So the consumer price index rose 8.5%. Go look at the wholesale pricing index. It's like 11. It's above 11%, 11.2%. That is the cost of things that will end up being passed down to you all. That's what's coming. Look at this. Flashbang's tweet. Putin's invasion of Ukraine has driven up gas prices, food prices all over the world. 70% of the increase in prices in March came from Putin price hike. I'm doing everything I can to bring down prices and address the Putin price hike. Oh, wait, you mean the sanctions that you put on somebody who is smarter and wiser than you to turn around and hit you back with, oh, we're going to take the ruble and peg it to gold, or make it have a floor where you can't control this stuff anymore. And by the way, they're requiring that you pay them in rubles for the oil that they have to export for the world to actually run, because you guys are idiots and turn off the pipelines here. No, they tapped into our reserves. It's doing $1 million or what is it? 1 million barrels? It's in here somewhere. Blah, 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 blah. 1 million barrels a day or something like that. It even talks about the Keystone Pipeline here. But gas supplies at home are already soaring levels not since Great Recession before the Russian oil ban. Republicans have blamed the rise in prices on Flashbang's green energy agenda, including it axing the Keystone XL pipeline for bolstering America's reliance on global oil markets. I mean, having looked into the electrical stuff, green energy makes sense from an off the grid standpoint, where you're not going to use a lot of electricity. You're not going to have the comforts of home like a washer, dryer, hair dryer, things like that, a stove, and oven. You can do that with gas and fuel, but you can't really you could wash your clothes if you had a running river and a washboard. I mean, if you really wanted to do that, you could. Just to put some things into perspective, you can't have the comforts of home on an off-grid environment. It just doesn't work because from a longevity or a long-term perspective, it is impossible. You'd have to have batteries that would fill up a basement of your house to run your house at night. And then you'd have to have strong enough solar panels, just as an example, or wind or hydro or something, where you would have to recharge those batteries during the daytime and power the house at the same time. So you'd have to have a double duty, basically. The amount of money that it would cost to actually set that kind of stuff up, it's still very, very expensive. And the technology for the battery charging and then the battery discharging is just not there yet. Actually, it probably is. They're just not letting us have that information. I mean, I've looked into like nuclear power and stuff like that in the past. Realistically speaking, something this big would power and in like 3 or 4 states of thorium, which thorium is not anywhere near as dangerous as plutonium, stuff like that. So there's lots of ways to build the appropriate cores with protecting yourself and your environment, if you will. But no one wants to talk about thorium. No one wants to talk about that kind of stuff. It's not my fault. Listen to this child. He is an idiot. On top of all of those things with the fuel problems there, but get a load of this. The economic shock hitting the housing market is starting to do some damage. Tom, yes, the Tesla coils, the free energy. So my son he's been learning about Nikola Tesla, not Tesla the company, but Nikola Tesla. And just little things that I've told him here and there as well. He's like, I want to build a Tesla coil. How do I do that? So he's been asking me to get him like copper wiring so he can make coils and magnets so he can actually go in and play with this stuff. And I'm kind of going, I wonder if you could play with that and actually have fun with it. You can actually pull electricity out of the air. I've told him this multiple times, and you can. If you build a proper coil and you do it properly, you could build a coil out of the air and pull stuff. He wants to build a perpetual motion motor out of magnetics, so that the motor can power a generator using magnets, but it's strong enough to maintain its energy and run the motor at the same time. And I'm going, that's pretty cool. Now I know how to. I have looked at building those in the past, and they just run themselves. Basically, it's a small little thing. It's like this big, and you could if you appropriately adjust the magnets at the right angles and things like that, you could potentially let it run indefinitely. So there's ways to do that stuff. Anyways, I digress. It's not the point of this. I guess there's lots of things out there that you could do on a massive scale, like to power your house. You could get a big, huge generator, like a generator motor. And then somehow, if you can turn that generator motor with some sort of magnetic motor, then effectively you can power your house. and go off the grid with something like that. Now, you'd have to really know what you're doing with the magnets, though. Go listen to Cliff High. He talks about stuff like this. Cliff High's actually shared a few things on Twitter and stuff like that that I've sitting there going, now that would work, kind of thing. Anyways, think about running a Bitcoin miner on one of those, right? Anyways, I digress. All right, so the economic shot is now hitting the housing market and starting to do some damage. The message from the Federal Reserve is pretty clear. The central bank is done sitting on the sidelines as inflation eats away at Americans' buying power. To be successful, of course, the bank will need to rein in the biggest drivers of runaway inflation, the red-hot housing market. Now they're actually telling you that the housing prices is up the way it is because of inflation. I've been saying that. I've said that to my friends and families for years. Like, this is what they're like. The housing price is crazy. What's going on? I'm like, it's inflation. No, it's not. What's that? And I'm like, they print money, they print money, they print money. It's basically like when it rains, there's only so much water that the ground can hold before it starts to actually pull up and create a pond or a lake or running stream. Basically, it can only absorb so much. And once it's done, then you end up with a problem, like standing water, because it won't absorb anymore in the economy. The economy cannot absorb the money anymore. So you end up having more money than you need. Then, therefore, you cannot buy the things that you need, like a house for a normal price, or a car for a normal price, or a cell phone. A cell phone costs more than $1,200 now if you want to get a nice one. And I get it's a handheld computer, but holy crap. I mean, a computer doesn't need to be as expensive as they are. A car, a truck does not need to be as expensive as it is. I get it. There are certain use cases, like a truck. I kind of get it, but like the other stuff, I mean, come on. It doesn't cost that much. It should not cost $7 for a daggum gallon of milk. Or if you do organic in certain places, it's $12 a gallon of milk. I mean, what happened? The housing market. They're finally saying that inflation is causing the rising price in housing market. Somebody's saying it publicly in a mainstream media. Not that anyone listens to these people anymore, but just saying it. On the front, the Fed might have some success. There's mounting evidence that the economic shock caused by spiking mortgage rates is beginning to take some steam out of the housing market. We saw a clear shift in housing market as rates rose to 5% at the end of March. I guess it's Devin Beckman, Vice President of Research at John Burns Real Estate Consulting, told Fortune. We're hearing about qualification issues, rising cancellations, and increased buyer hesitancy, particularly at the entry-level price points and in remote locations. You know why? Because the entry-level homes went up $200,000 in like a year and a half's time. That doesn't happen. Maybe 30,000, maybe 50,000 in a good year, not $200,000+. There's a home in my neighborhood that should have sold for like $213,000, $215,000. It sold for $480,000. Okay? That's stupid money. That is somebody being really not wise with what they're doing. Just saying. Anyways, and then the rural stuff, I get that because the housing, the more closer into you are to a city, the more valuable the house is to people because they're closer to stuff, I guess. Sorry. I have a really big ring on my hand because I married an amazing, beautiful woman, and I hit the thing sometimes. I'm sorry if that hurt your ears if you're listening with earbuds on. Anyhow, yeah, we're starting to see some crazy stuff here. How much income prices are up since the onset of the hunger disease? Change in medium home lists price between 2020 and 2022, March. That's a lot. Like Idaho, I mean, holy moly, that's a ton. The rest of the country is about 24%. I guess between 24 and 30%. You got the orange and the pink is approximate in those areas. That's intriguing. That's crazy. Anyways, last little thing here. So the CEO of Nexo is saying that Bitcoin could hit $100,000 within a year. I don't disagree. Realistically, like, actually don't disagree, because there's a supply crunch, and people like myself and my regulars here, I definitely know you guys and gals are not letting this stuff go. The CEO of Nexo is predicting that it will happen within a year. Don't disagree. I actually think it could happen sooner than that, because we're hitting some of these bottom areas right now, and people are testing this. They're trying to accumulate more. This is like a buying opportunity for the Michael Saylors and the BlackRocks. And yes, BlackRock's looking at buying into cryptos. They're looking into a way to do this. $10 trillion. I'm telling everyone, I've been screaming to all my friends and family, y'all, I have family members who do not believe that cryptocurrency is there for their benefit. And I've been saying it on the show, and I'm going to continue to say it till I am blue in the face. And Bitcoin Magazine even put in this out here. Bitcoin, the safe haven, is the safe haven with consumer pricing index at 5.5 or 8.5%. I have been saying, and I'm not gonna stop saying it. Crypto is the exit strategy. When the market fails, as it is doing now, there is no consumer trading happening. These are bots and institutions in the stock market. Realistically, the Federal Reserve. I don't know any of my friends, anyone who used to do any kind of trading, they've stopped trading in the regular stock market. They just Manny. Papa Smurf. Blue in the face. You're funny. I love you, brother. Good morning, by the way. Good afternoon. Holy cow, that was a squirrel. Crypto is the exit strategy, and I am not kidding. I've been saying that. I'm not going to stop saying it. When people realize that this entire thing is destroyed, they will be looking for crypto and what they can get their hands on, and they'll be doing that for as long as that is the solution for our stuff going forward. It really is. So, as I said, towards the end of the show, we're going to take the chat. We're going to look at it then. Towards the end of the show, this is where I would like to maybe take the chat and turn it into a Q&A time. So if you have any questions, concerns, anything like that I may or may not be able to answer, but I'd love to say hi to you guys at the end. Reason being is I want to kind of start the shows off, say, hey, here's this stuff. Thanks for being here. Subscribe, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. And then I really, really want to just jump into this, because I want to be able to get in. That people's time is limited, and I want to be able to get into the content and let you guys have that. And then for those of you who want to stick around for the community side of it, we'll do that towards the end of the shows. And change that format for everyone. That way it just kind of works out. So we got Tom. What's going on, brother? How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you being here. Good morning, Bitcoin Bull. How are you? I have a fly playing around here. Sorry about that. Who else is here? Daddy-O, good morning. How's it going? Good to see you. Not imaginative. What's up? How are you? It's good to see you here. Bitcoin Bull, PJQA. Love it. Yeah. Q&A. If you have questions, throw them out there. Or if you like the new format, let me know. That'd be helpful as well. Bitcoin Brainstormer, how are you? Good morning. It is good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Who else is here? Kim, good morning. How are you? What's going on? Let's see. We got Manny. What's up, Manny? How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Daddy-O, yeah. Litecoin at $25,000 would be nice. 4-to-1 ratio of the price. When people realize the Litecoin's value and its fungibility and its usability, it's going to be really, really, really great. Very, very cool stuff. All right, cool. Bitcoin Bull, question. Yesterday, Litecoin leader said Nexo card is launching. You reported in Europe only. Clarify, is Nexo token available on the Polygon chain, Ethereum gas high, for smaller transactions? So to answer the question, to my knowledge, everything I have read says it's just in Europe. Lycon Leader may know something I do not, because I knew that they actually had some time talking directly with the Nexo folks at Bitcoin 2022. So I'll reach out to him and double check that, and we will maybe talk about that for clarification. So I apologize if there's any confusion, but everything publication wise that I have seen, it's just in Europe to start with. But I'll double check. So you guys keep me honest on that. If you see an article somewhere, something like that, if you're part of the Patreon, ping me in Telegram. I would like to make sure that that's accurate. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Who else we got here? I like the background. Thanks, man. I randomly found that this morning. I was like, oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Cool. Let's see here. OMG, the use cases of Lightning Network. Or is it just Lightning? It's just Lightning Network. So there's so many use cases for Lightning Network. So it's really, really cool. I was at the conference and somebody walked up like, "You want $10 in Bitcoin?" Is like, "Sure." Like, "You have an Exos wallet?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a burner wallet." So I popped in there. Lightning Network is now added to the into Exodus, so you can send and receive Bitcoin like that. It's actually really, really, really freaking fast. I have not seen something. I've used it before when it first was done. It was a little clunky then, but like that is like smooth. That was really good. So, anyways, if there's no more questions, no more comments, etc., I will go ahead and cut it there. Let me know if you like the new format. This is kind of the way I want to do it. Just sip my haze and whatnot, jump right in to the content, and then we'll talk at the back end of the show. So, anyways, yeah, we'll go ahead and cut it there. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. I should have a show at 4:30 Eastern for my Patreon. If you're not part of that, it is linked in the description of the channel, and it is scrolling on the bottom of the screen as well. And then also there's the Crypto Confidential. It's worth the investment to have access to that type of information. It really, really is. So those of you who have joined, it does mean a lot to me. It genuinely means the world to me. I do appreciate it. You all have a wonderful and beautiful and an amazing day, and I will see you all this afternoon. Bye-bye.